For 1,000 years. I mean, just think about that. They've existed right at the crossroads of history. A people bound by a faith so secret, its deepest truths are known only to a select few. Today, we're going to try and pull back the curtain on one of the world's most mysterious communities, the Druze. Now, this is a seriously complex history. So to help us navigate it, we're going to use a specific guide. It's this 1960 book, The Druze Sect, Its History and Beliefs, by a scholar, Dr. Mohammed Kamil Hussein, who really dedicated his work to figuring out the sect's origins. So all of our insights today are coming directly from his research. And right from the introduction, Dr. Hussein just hits on the central theme. This isn't just a faith, it's a meticulously guarded tradition. This idea he mentions, intense concealment, that's the key. You have to keep that phrase in mind to understand everything that follows. So it begs the question, right? Why? Why all the secrecy? What could possibly happen to make a whole community basically lock its doors to the outside world for an entire millennium? To even begin to find the answers, we first have to appreciate just how deep the mystery goes. So get this, you cannot convert to the Druze faith. You have to be born into it. For 1,000 years, their community has been closed. Their sacred texts, their core beliefs, they're hidden from outsiders. And maybe the most surprising part? They're hidden from the majority of the Druze people themselves. The reasons for all this secrecy aren't random. They were forged in a very specific, very turbulent moment in time. To understand the why, we have to go all the way back to 11th century Cairo, which was the heart of the powerful Fatimid Empire. Section 2, the Caliph of Cairo. You know, our entire story really revolves around a single, pivotal, and deeply, deeply controversial historical figure. Al-Hakim by Amr Allah, the 6th caliph of the Fatimid dynasty. This is a ruler who completely defies any easy explanation. He's a figure who is just as shrouded in mystery as the faith that would eventually emerge in his name. You know, the historical sources themselves paint this deeply contradictory picture of the guy. On one hand, Al-Hakim is described as a violent, erratic tyrant. On the other, he's seen as a pious, disciplined leader. He'd issue these really bizarre decrees, but then also do things for the public good. This complexity is absolutely central to the whole story. And this entire foundation was built in just a few short decades. Al-Hakim comes to power as a kid, only 11 years old. About 2 decades later, a brand new religious movement starts up, and they're preaching that he is the final manifestation of God on earth. Then, at the absolute height of his power, he just vanishes, without a trace. His disappearance is the one event that changes everything. So, what were the core ideas of this new movement? What did they actually believe that was so different? Okay, so at its heart is this concept of tawhid, which means divine unity. We're talking about a radical kind of monotheism. The belief is that God is so utterly one, so transcendent, that God can't be described by human language or attributes at all, completely beyond our comprehension. And here is the huge theological leap that set this new faith apart from all others. The preachers of this call argued that this unknowable, transcendent God had chosen to manifest in human form throughout history, and that the Caliph al-Hakim was the last and most perfect of these manifestations. Another unique cornerstone is tanasukh, or reincarnation. The Druze believe the soul is immediately reborn into another Druze body right after death. And this is crucial. They believe the number of Druze souls in existence is fixed and has been ever since the faith was closed in the 11th century. This is why you can't convert. There are no new souls to join. So what happens after Al-Hakim vanishes? Well, the community faces a massive crisis, and its response would go on to define Druze society for the next 1,000 years. In all the chaos that followed Al-Hakim's disappearance, the movement went underground. The leaders declared the call was over, the gates of the faith were officially closed, and the community adopted the intense secrecy that has defined it ever since. This led to the formation of a really unique social structure. The community is divided into 2 groups. You have the vast majority, called the Jahal, the uninitiated. They live by a strong ethical code, but they don't know the deep theology. And then you have the Ukal, the initiated, a small group of men and women who become the guardians of the faith's innermost secrets. Becoming one of the Ukal is a life-altering commitment. This isn't just about what you believe. It's a long, tough path of proving your piety and your discipline. Initiates have to renounce worldly pleasures to show that they are truly worthy of becoming the living guardians of the faith's deepest secrets. So, how has this small, closed community actually managed to survive for so long, especially when they were often caught in the middle of incredible turmoil? For nearly 1,000 years, through the Crusades, Mongol invasions, and the rise and fall of massive empires, the Druze have endured. That longevity is, in and of itself, just absolutely remarkable. Part of that endurance comes from a really strong social fabric. According to our source, hereditary leadership from prominent families has provided a kind of backbone of stability, creating a cohesion that has guided the community through centuries of challenges. Our source offers this one final paradoxical insight. The Druze are described as fierce warriors, and they're intensely loyal to one another. And it suggests that their small numbers and the very secrecy that protected them may have actually been their greatest strength, fostering a unity that has ensured their survival against all odds. Which really leaves us with a final thought. We started with the mystery of Druze secrecy, and we end with the reality of their survival. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Can the very act of guarding a secret become the thing that holds a people together? What does it take to keep a flame alive, hidden from the world for 1,000 years?